I know that Bou'lam Sansal's symbolism is greater than the symbolism of this demonstration, but I decided to do it anyway to highlight the strange paradox and the great catastrophe. I implore the German president to demand the release of detainees of Hirak movement. Good morning. Today we are February 22nd, the 7th anniversary of the Algerian protest called Hirak. Today I'm in Berlin, in front of the German president residence. Mr. Steinmeier has recently intervened for the release of Bou'lam Sansal, who has been imprisoned in Algeria. What may be unknown to Mr. Steinmeier and plenty of others around the world is that hundreds of young people have been imprisoned in Algeria since 2019. And incomparable to Sansal, they didn't insult Algeria. They didn't call for its division, nor did they insult its history or its historical symbols. Some of them asked for justice, for freedom of speech and more democracy. Others posted videos talking about their lives, their sufferings, their daily concerns. They have been harshly sentenced to several years in prison and exorbitant fines. For instance, I used to be a teacher and a unionist in Algeria. Today I am a fugitive, sentenced to life imprisonment. Fethi Gharras, the head of a recognized democratic party, was imprisoned. The party was dissolved, its headquarters sealed, and exorbitant financial penalties were imposed to him. He and his wife are still facing trials. The Algerian League for Defense of Human Rights was dissolved also, and many of its members were prosecuted on fabricated and malicious charges. Karim Tabou, another political figure, is obliged to sign every week in military barrack. Like thousands whose passports have been confiscated, Abdelkarim Zghilish cannot travel abroad. More than 5,000 cases have been fabricated against all segments of society. Mohamed Teljadid, the young poet of the Hirak movement, has been imprisoned more than 5 times since 2019, most recently receiving a 5-year sentence. Mustafa Gira was arrested in 2020 and remains in prison to this day. The Algerian regime, for once, achieved justice and equality between men and women, but in punishment. The harsh sentences have also affected dozens of women, the latest being Abla Gmari, the voice of the oppressed Deep Algeria, who was sentenced to 3 years in prison. And when we talk about prison, it is not the same where Sansal spent his holidays, where we become younger and prettier. The prisoners like us are tortured in Algeria, are sexually abused, and sometimes are killed, like the journalist Mohamed Temelt. Unlike Sansal, who has been treated properly, hundreds of prisoners die because they are deprived from hospitals and medicines. Unlike Sansal, who spent his days reading in a VIP room in a hospital, Algerian prisons are overcrowded. It happens to have 160 detainees in the same cell, all sleeping on the concrete, in a 30-centimeter wide place for each. Malnutrition, bugs, diseases, and torture. That's what the Algerian prisons look like. I am here today in Berlin since the German president's word carries weight, and since Bou'lam Sansal's life is no better than that of the Algerians dying in Algerian prisons. And whatever they may have done, the charges against them are less serious than the actions of the traitor Sansal. I implore the German president to demand the release of detainees of Hirak movement, prisoners of conscience and political prisoners in Algeria. I know that Bou'lam Sansal's symbolism is greater than the symbolism of this demonstration, but I decided to do it anyway to highlight the strange paradox and the great catastrophe that the situation in Algeria has reached. Algerians are begging the heads of other states to intervene in their country's politics, to intervene in their country's justice. Enough talk about the rule of law in Algeria, about the separation of powers and foreign interference. Mr. Steinmeier, I beg you, use your authority over us and order them to release the detainees. Freedom is not selective, justice is not selective, and human dignity is not selective as well. So freedom to Qadar Zwan from Mascara, freedom to Afif Adto from Mustaqanam, freedom to Ahmed Sidi Musa from Adrar, Freedom to Tahar Al-Arbi from Al-Bayyid. Freedom to Rashid Saadawi from Boumerdas. Freedom for all detainees from each corner in Algeria. Freedom to Algeria from the military junta.